Hey peeps, what's up today? Thank you for tuning in to this video about quitting smoking. Good for you if you're a smoker who is looking for a way to quit, because let me tell ya, I know how hard it feels like it is. You coming up here? I'm Patricia. This is Louie the Sleepy Pug, and I've got another pug wandering around here, Oscar. Thank you so much for tuning into Two Twisted Vegans for this amazing video on quitting smoking. Yeah! Okay, the video might not be amazing, but what I'm really hoping is that you will get something out of it. You're considering quitting smoking, and I hope this is that little extra push and support to get you there. I smoked for a frickin' 18 years, full time, you know, up to and over a pack a day, especially if I was going out partying or something. I was a constant smoker. And I loved it. I really did. I thought it was pretty awesome. There was a time, maybe 10 years in or so, that I considered quitting, tried the patch, tried this other natural path, like liquid thing, I kind of forget. Funny, all the things that you try, and yeah, they didn't work. I didn't really want to quit. I still really loved it at that point. It was part of my identity, and I think that's why it can be really hard for a lot of people, is because it becomes your whole life. I mean, I had everywhere I went, you know, do I have my smokes, do I have my lighter? Like, it was just, you know, when am I gonna get to smoke again? Especially after everything went non-smoking, the bars and stuff. Then it became a lot more of a challenge now. You couldn't smoke in front of buildings. You really had to be committed, and I was. And so it really became a part of me, and that's why it's so hard to quit. See, it's addictive, so you're addicted, like physically, but it's kind of a trap that you're stuck in. But I'll get into that in a minute. What I really wanted to provide with this video was a perspective that might make it easier for you to quit. I was miserable when I tried to quit. The few times that I tried, I mean, I was upset, I would cry really easy, my emotions were on edge, and I inevitably would put on a few pounds, and I really wouldn't. The longest I got was 3 weeks, and the time I made it to 3 weeks, I rewarded myself with a cigarette. With a friend. My friend was still a smoker, one of my good besties, and so I met her on a patio for a couple glasses of wine, and bam, I was right back in. By the time we were done having a couple glasses of wine, I was walking over to the convenience store to buy my own pack instead of bumming hers. And that was my 3-week celebration having quit. So if you get me, stay tuned, because I really want to inspire you to quit. And it's not the health. I mean, you can see stuff everywhere about how bad smoking is. You know, it's not the health. That is not what's going to make you quit. I was so sick. I would get regular occurrences of like a bronchitis, and I stopped going to the doctor because the doctor didn't care what I had to say. I was a smoker and I had lung problem. I couldn't find a doctor to care. I got the odd one who would give me a puffer, but I was a smoker. That was the obvious problem. Now that I'm on this side as the non-smoker or the reformed smoker, I really want to share that with everyone because it is really amazing. Cigarette smoking is like this thing that really takes over your life. Like I said, you got to think about where your cigarettes are, you know, where you're going to stop and buy more, when can you smoke, have a couple smokes before you have to go a while with not being allowed to have a smoke. And so it really can control everything you do. And you miss out on stuff. I mean, you go out for a smoke in the middle of a wedding or something, you might miss part of a speech. And if you're not going outside because you're waiting for that speech to be over, you might be sitting there the whole time kind of being distracted, you know? Not that you couldn't focus, but cigarettes are always in the back of your mind. The beauty when you quit for real and not using willpower, which we'll get to, but when you quit is like, you have that freedom now. Like, it's like a weight lifted off your shoulders when you can finally make it to the other side. We all start smoking for different reasons. Your motivation for smoking may be totally different. Either way, we both got addicted, right? So what you need to think of now that you want to quit is, why do you want to quit? Lots of people are asked to quit because maybe they're having a health issue, and so the doctor's like, you know, might be time to quit. Maybe your family, maybe someone else has quit, or they don't smoke and they're like, we love you, we can't handle you smoking. So there's a lot of pressure from your family or your spouse. Maybe they took away smoking on the grounds at work, since so many places are non-smoking and stuff. Maybe during a work hours you're not able to smoke, and so that's proving to be very stressful, so you're like, oh, I guess I should quit. There are all different reasons that people might watch this video and be Googling or considering, how do I quit smoking? But the thing is, it really isn't gonna work, and you've probably heard this before if you've ever discussed quitting with anyone. It really isn't gonna work until you want it. I think that is the biggest key. The thing with smoking is you really get caught in a trap. The smoking industry is billions of dollars large in all sides. And you might think that's just the smoking side, the making the cigarettes, the selling the cigarettes, and all the promotion of cigarettes. But it's equally as profitable for you to be addicted for all the quit smoking stuff. Okay, all the nicotine gums and the patches and all that stuff. I mean, that is a huge moneymaker. So if you can be stuck on cigarettes, but stuck wanting to try and quit, people are making a lot of money off you. The truth is, yes, you're addicted, but it is actually the easiest addictive substance to get over. And this is gonna have some of you pissed off when you hear this. I know, because I've been you, and I would have said, whatever. People have compared smoking to being as addictive as heroin, and a heroin addict can't just get up and walk away from heroin. They need to go to a treatment center, for Christ's sake. So how can you say it's an easy addiction to get over? And I'm gonna tell you the plain, hard truth. And that is the symptoms of withdrawal. When you really look at the symptoms of withdrawal from a cigarette, yes, you're gonna get, you could potentially get a headache. You might feel a bit fidgety. You may lose some sleep for a couple of days, maybe a little brain fog, irritability. But the irritability is your mindset, as is kind of the other symptoms. The actual physical withdrawal, and I would have to relook up this stat, but is a very short time in your system. We're talking a couple of days. And really, if you have the brain power, not the willpower, if you have the right mindset, you can do anything for just a couple of days. After that, it's all mindset. But because you've been tricked into believing that cigarettes are this huge ordeal to quit, providing this whole industry about quitting, you've been brainwashed to believe it's going to be hard. So going into it, what is your thought when you think about quitting smoking? I bet just like me, it's, oh fuck, I should do it, but this is going to be hard. And you have that sense of deprivation before you even get started. I believed I was going to feel like crap for a really long time, and hopefully I'd come out on the other side, quit. And I'd always feel that sense of loss. I really thought that piece of me, you know how I said it was part of my identity, I felt like I just wouldn't really ever be the same again. That's what's going on in the back of your mind. Well, I'm sorry. You're never, I shouldn't say never. It's gonna be hard to achieve success when that's the foot you're starting on. So you have to kind of eliminate that right from the get-go, which is why it's important to want to quit for yourself. You actually have to have your reason that absolutely is more important to you than anything else. It needs to be a priority if you really want to take action. Not only do you want to make it a priority, you want to adopt that JFDI attitude. Just fucking do it. That's what that stands for. When you can grasp the just fucking do it attitude, which is where I got to, enough was enough. I had watched some health documentaries, actually, not even about smoking, but about other things. And so I wanted to just radically change. So I had that real, enough is enough, JFDI, my body is a temple. I know in my logical mind that this is hurtful. Sure, some people smoke their whole life and don't die of cancer, but I was having bronchitis regularly. You know, my breath, my car, everything kind of smelled like smoke all the time. Like I was not the pillar of health. And I felt like I'm only getting older. I'm gonna get wrinkles. Vanity was a huge motivator for me. I was like, I'm gonna get wrinkles all over my mouth. You see someone down the line who's smoked and you know, they're now in their 70s and they just have that Their skin has that tone, their hair has that tone, their voice has that tone, everything about them says they have smoked for years. And I thought, oh, if I don't do something about this, that's where I'm gonna be. And I just didn't want that. So if you can get inside yourself that just gotta fucking do it attitude, that is the next right step. So now you're setting yourself up for success. You're like, I've got to do it. I've had it with this bullshit. It's funny, I want you to consider this. If you said to, your neighbor right now, yep, I'm gonna quit smoking, I guarantee they're gonna look at you and go, ooh, good for you. How are you gonna do it? It's gonna be tough. They're gonna wanna support you because they are under the impression it's really hard too, whether they've ever smoked or not. You ask non-smokers, smokers, reformed smokers, whatever, and they're all gonna go, yeah, geez, good on ya, good luck. Don't be too hard on yourself, and everyone's got this huge blown up idea about how hard it is. Keep that in mind. Get yourself in the right mindset. Even if you still, you're not just gonna hear me and go, oh, okay, I guess it's easy. You're brainwashed, you believe it's hard. Just challenge that. Say, what if it was easy? Is that possible? How you can get to that and what finally worked for me, which is, the point of this whole video, I read a book. I know, a book helped me quit smoking. And it was The Easy Way by Alan Carr. The Easy Way to Stop Smoking. I wish I still had a copy. I've had multiple copies and given them all away. And the funny thing about that is the first time I got that book was years before I quit smoking. I made it about halfway through. I may even have dabbled reading in it a couple of times, got halfway, got close to the end. But you know what I was missing that time? The JFDI attitude, the mindset that I really wanted it. I was motivated way back when someone gave me the book. I thought, oh, I should give it a try. I had probably mentioned like, oh, it'd be nice to quit, but ultimately in my heart, I still really wanted to smoke. So that's a huge distinction right there. And then the book gave me all the ammo I needed to be unbrainwashed. And that's what's important, mindset. Everything you do, whether you can stick to a diet, stick to quitting smoking, a new exercise routine, changing your job, moving. These are all things that require a specific mindset for you to take action. You don't take action on everything you think you may want to do in a day. You take action when you're super motivated and you switch that mindset to do that. This time when I had read the book, I was at that JFDI, I was at enough is enough, and the book was my power. I was able to go, yes, I love what you're saying here, and I totally agree with you, and I'm eating it up because that is the power that's gonna get me to quit. And I was totally right. Don't look to your health to make you quit. Don't look to the money to make you quit. Don't look to do it because you love somebody and they want you to quit. If those were gonna work, there'd be way few smokers, okay? Those just aren't gonna work. It's all your mindset and then educating yourself so that you can back up, yeah, I wanna quit. And The Easy Way by Alan Carr really provides you with that education of, what the addiction really feels like. So you can look at yourself and go, yeah, you know what, I don't feel that bad. The hardest part was just thinking about it. You're so used to doing something habitually that every time I would leave the house, I'd be like, where are my smokes? Oh yeah, I don't smoke. Is that bad? Do I mind that? At first you have to am I okay with this? Wait, yeah, I am okay with this. And being grateful. So once you get a little momentum going, then reminding yourself how grateful you are every day that you don't have to remember your smokes, you don't have to go buy them, you don't have to smell like smoke, you're not coughing anymore, like getting rid of, I had, that adjustment of phlegm in your throat, and if you've been smoking for a while, you've got it, and you don't even notice probably anymore that you do it, but it's like a and just having that, I had it, it's gone. And thank God, because it's kind of embarrassing. I don't get sick anymore, I don't get colds, I don't constantly, it's hard on your whole body smoking. But that's all stuff that you can learn about. I am no doctor. I just really wanted to motivate you to take a different perspective on smoking and consider something like a book maybe helping you out as opposed to the patch or the gums or, oh yeah, I've tried the gum before too. The thing with those, and Alan Carr does talk about this in his book, and it turned out, I was like, oh, hell yeah, like you got that right. The problem with stuff like that is it keeps you addicted to the nicotine, right? Yeah, you're supposed to scale down. I mean, I had a buddy I worked with once. He was addicted to the gum for years. He gave up the cigarettes but couldn't give up the gum. And guess what? It was doing no good for his health. And he had to remember the gum everywhere he went. And he had to buy the gum, you know? It's a mind trap, that guilty feeling of being addicted to something, that always having to have it. The taste, I mean, nobody likes the taste. You think you do, but ultimately you don't. That freeing feeling of being free doesn't happen when you transfer your addiction to these gums and patches. Now, yes, you're supposed to step down and then eventually not use that either, but would it be nice just to let go right from the beginning and not waste any of your money on the gum or patches and not drag out the whole process for weeks? You can be quit in one day. One day. You don't need all that weaning down. Obviously, talk to your doctor. I am no doctor. I also quit caffeine cold turkey, and that too has side effects. Actually, I think the side effects from that might have been worse. Maybe you're on medications, maybe things will get thrown off, so it is definitely a good idea to check with the doctor on your quitting process, but don't let them talk you out of going cold turkey unless there is some major scientific reason, you know what I mean, with your medications, because a lot of people are just scared. They don't want you to fail, and they think, you know, if you have a crutch, that's going to be great and it's going to wean you down. You don't need to be weaned down. Also, when I talk about a crutch, what you would do better with, instead of going to the gum or the patch, is getting a buddy. A buddy either who's quitting too, has quit before, or has never smoked. It doesn't really matter. I mean, the never smoked might be hard because you might feel like they're taking this righteous approach and they don't know what you're going through because they've never done it. But if you get the book, The Easy Way by Alan Carr, which, disclaimer, like, I'm not making any money on that. It's just a really great, it's short read, really great book. If you get that and then you tell someone and get them to be like your sponsor, the way they do for AA, you know, and have that person you can constantly talk to. I had that, and be like, oh fuck, I want to smoke. I don't want to smoke, but it's on my mind. And sometimes just getting it out of your mouth helps release that urge or that actual want, because when you hear yourself saying it, you're like, I actually don't want that cigarette, so what do I do now? And now your friend, your sponsor, can either distract you, you know, comfort you, you guys can do something else, and off you go. Oh, and one more thing about the crutch. Don't turn to food, because what you'll do is you'll be like, I can't quit smoking because I'm gonna be fat. I know for me that was a huge ordeal. Don't let that be the reason, because guess what? When I actually quit, I didn't gain any weight. I actually lost weight. I drank more water. I ate more vegetables. Carrot and celery sticks, and drink lots of water if you've got that craving to really, you know, put something in your mouth. Some people say they need something to do that. But ultimately, if you're putting it on something, I need, you know, to chew gum instead, I need to eat candies instead, I need to keep my hands and mouth busy instead, then you're still telling yourself that this is hard, not possible, and you don't really want to do it. Because if you really wanted to do it, you don't need anything else instead. You know what I'm saying? Think of other things that you've done for a long time that you've stopped doing. It's not, your brain is perfectly capable of switching off that switch immediately. It doesn't need to be reminded every day when you don't want something. It knows you don't want it and it forgets about it. It's that other piece of you, the piece of you that needs to be reminded is that piece that doesn't fully believe in you. It's that piece that still believes all the brainwashing. And this is why having a buddy and the right mindset is what's going to keep you on track. Now let's go into the reality of my first few days as a non-smoker. And what was it really like? It was great. Now, I did think about it. Like I said, it was a habit of making sure that I always had my smokes and my lighter, and so I would think about it in that way and then go, oh yeah, like I don't need that, I'm not smoking. Or I would see someone light up, or a friend would have a smoke, and I would be like, where's mine? Oh yeah, I don't do that anymore. So it did take reminding. It wasn't difficult in any way, shape, or form, but it was something I kept thinking about. You know, years before when I tried to quit smoking, I would think, oh, this is so hard. So I'm already set up with the wrong mindset going in, right? This is gonna be so hard. It's gonna be terrible. I'm gonna think about it all the time. It's gonna nag and nag and nag at me. And it did. And when I would think about it in those moments and it would nag and nag and nag at me, I would go, oh, I want it, but I can't have it, and this sucks. And then I would say, you know what? Fuck that, I'm an adult, I'm going to the store and buying my cigarettes. And I would. So this time, with this mindset, I really didn't want to go to the store and buy the cigarettes. So when I would think about it, I would think about it in a way of, oh yeah, that's something I used to do. I don't do that anymore, and I don't want to do that anymore. And I even said it out loud sometimes. And it immediately gave me a different attitude about it. So it's one I would really like you to try on, because it may not be a way you've thought of it before. And maybe this shift is exactly what you need to make it work this time. Obviously, I really think you should get the Easy Way to Quit Smoking by Alan Carr, because I think that gives you the facts to back it up, the ammo in your mind and in your heart to take your JFDI attitude and your mindset of I do not want to do it anymore and really catapult you ahead. I think you can do it without the book too, but having in some stats and having some information, and he has some great stories in there about people quitting and about different ways that people look at smoking. And he talks about the trap of believing that quitting is hard and that it's a big ordeal. And he puts it so much better than me, and in a way that I think you'll really appreciate and understand. I would love to know in the comments if you have read it, how you felt about it. And remember, the first couple times I looked at it, it didn't work. I didn't quit. So it's more than just the book, but it really all comes together. And the last thing I just kind of wanted to touch on was people who have quit, who haven't had this mindset and haven't had the book and still believed it was really hard, and maybe they used the patch and you know, whatever, and they quit, and you know them and they quit years ago and they're still quit, and that's totally awesome. But I wonder how much they suffered, because I don't just want you to quit. I want you to quit and feel amazing. I don't want you to suffer. I've had many friends quit who have suffered, and they've either gone back to smoking, even after years, they've gone back to smoking, or they spend a long drawn out process with the aids of quitting, whether it's the patch or whatever. And even after they get off the patch, they spend a long time in angst over that decision, plaguing them, driving them nuts. Every time they see someone have a smoke, they wish they could have one. Every time, you know, they smell it, they wish they could have one. And they're always being triggered to have to remind themselves not to smoke. It didn't feel that way for me. Yeah, I thought about it. Like I said, I thought I would forget sometimes that I was a non-smoker and think for a second, like, well, yeah, I gotta have a smoke. No, wait, no, I don't. But I didn't use any willpower, because I'm telling you, willpower, that is dicey. Some people are real good with willpower. They suffer, but they get through. That's not me. That is not me. I like to treat myself. I like to give myself the things that I want. And so depriving myself is not high on my priority list. So for me, willpower is not gonna work. And that's why I've learned about brain power. So this book, your buddy, and your just fucking do it attitude are gonna give you the brain power to quit. I hope you do it. I want you to put in the comments how it goes. I would love to support you on the journey. I can help be your buddy. If that's something that people need, put it in the comments. We could even start a buddy group. I would love it. We can go through the book together, whatever. And stay tuned to my channel for more mindset shifting JFDI type videos so that you can stay motivated and on track, whether it's quitting smoking or losing weight or whatever in your life that you need to tackle. I'm gonna help you tackle it, okay? Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you for thinking about quitting smoking, and I'm behind you 100%. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe if you enjoy this video and want to see more. Basically, I'm all about self-love, getting the life you want. I'll see you in the next video.